The book I'm going to talk about today, The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. I was a little bit conflicted about actually doing a review because there's going to be spoilers because I don't know how to talk about this particular book without putting in spoilers, and I generally don't like to. So that's why my reviews come off a little bit vague, is because I don't want to give you details because I think that's the magic of reading is discovering. I know not everyone thinks that, but I like to know as little about a book as going in as possible and just following that story and discovering that magic. Saying that, to talk about this one, I don't know how not to do it. Now, Beth O'Leary wrote the fantastic, brilliant book Flatshare, which is now a movie or TV show, and I cannot praise that book enough. And Road Trip has some great elements, and I genuinely loved parts of it, but there's stuff in here that I really found hard to get on board with. Now, the premise is brilliant. Addie and her sister are driving up to a wedding and they get rear-ended by her ex-boyfriend Dylan and his douchebag best mate Marcus. And they end up all going together up to the north of England or Scotland. And so the premise, absolutely brilliant. The story cuts between how Addie and Dylan met and fell in love in France and their relation blossoming and the road trip to the wedding. And Beth does that fantastic, absolutely amazing. The cut between the two, really good. But the thing about it is Marcus, this douchebag friend, and his like childish temper tantrums. He's a spoiled rich kid. If he doesn't get his way, he has his temper tantrum. And I don't think Beth really deals with that, and like they play off the root of where that begins. Um, and I don't like the explanation because towards the end of the novel, the reason they broke up was because Addie's boss, vice principal at her school that she taught at, basically tried to force himself on her and then blamed her, and Marcus and Dylan got the raw end of this stick, and I don't think we do enough. Like, there's a lot of victim shaming here, and it's kind of glossed over. Like, you sort of find out, no, it wasn't her fault, and no one thought it was, but these douchebags. And so it's like, yeah, that's what I struggle. There's a lot of victim blaming here, and to take someone back who thought you'd threw yourself at someone who tried to force himself on you, it's really kind of a little bit hard to read. Um, So that was my mixed emotions about the book. Despite there's a lot of elements I really liked in it and stuff, and they play it off as Marcus's attitude towards her, which is toxic the whole way through. Just the moment she's in the picture, he's a spoilt little child who lost his favorite plaything, which is Dylan, and then they put it down as, oh, he loved her, and all right, he might have had feelings, he might have had lust for her, but it's this possessive, I can't have it, I want it, which is not love. Like, that is not love at all. And so yeah, that was a little bit interesting, and I don't think it was dealt with enough in the end of the novel. But again, saying that, there's so many elements I really enjoyed. The quirky way they sort of got together, and that I really enjoyed it, and some of the themes are really good. But I don't know. I don't think I could take someone back in Addie's position. Oh, Dylan said he loved her and he was sorry and all that once he realised she hadn't thrown herself at her boss, which is all good and well, but when she needed him, he was listening to this douchebag who loved her and wanted her for himself, and basically, blamed her. So I don't think you could go back. I don't think I could go back. I find it hard that people would go back to someone that would treat them like that. So that's my conflict with the book, and some people might say, but they found love in the end. He was sorry, and she wrote that part brilliantly. She did that really well, and the mix and that. But it's whether or not you can get on board with that going back. What she did do well, and what I really loved about the book, was the last moment in it when they do work it out. And like I say, I couldn't go back, but some people like that. And that last moment, that last kiss, and yes, they're going to be all right. And that was brilliant. In that last page, there is this perfect moment when they do kiss, and that that perfect kiss. And like I said, the conflict of whether or not you could go back, but if you're going to, like, do it in style. And Beth O'Leary captures that. She's absolutely brilliant at the of putting down on paper what we like in a good love story, And she did it brilliantly with Flat Share, which maybe I'll review, like books I've read years ago, and talk about them, as opposed to just the ones I'm sort of currently reading. So, Road Trip. Beth O'Leary is a magnificent writer. She's really good at her craft. Like I said, there's some spoils in here and there's some issues that I found hard to get on board with, but it's still a very good read. And what she does well in it, she does absolutely brilliantly well. So, happy reading and happy Easter.